Good afternoon, everyone. This is Isabel Parady talking to you from Chicago in a really exciting day and sunny day today, just before the start of the ITW week. I'm joined today with one of my very good friends and one of the most famous or infamous executive in the industry, Andreas Hipp. Andreas is CEO of Cataleya, is a board member of Cirrus Core Network, and is the founder of Incipio. Andreas, welcome to my HotShot.
Thank you very much. Very pleased to be here with you.
Me too.
On this great day.
Yes.
In this famous city. And a few troublesome days ahead, right?
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah.
So, Andreas, we spent, as you know, many evenings drinking and talking about the future or even the non-future of the industry, depending on our mindset of the time. And we both agree when we talk about that the industry has to evolve drastically. The wholesalers have to change their business, the way they go about offering their services, the technologies they use, their culture. But we don't often talk about what impact this has on the vendors. And I think maybe today is a good opportunity for, to have that type of discussion now that you're head of Cataleya again. So maybe you can share with me your views on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're very right. And only since I left Epsilon 1.5 years ago and got involved in technology on the mobile side with Cirrus Core Networks, who have a very different approach to mobile core as a managed service, fully virtualized, which I think offers great opportunities for operators to actually launch services quicker and faster, more cost effective. And in the traditional telco, when I was in Epsilon, we were always a customer. And it was a very much CapEx intensive proposition, and every project you did was like, okay, can we afford the next 2 million, 3 million on hardware, and how long will it take to get the payback? But in the meantime, also the commercial model around the retail and the enterprise customer side has changed, right? They want everything as a service, pay as you go, only what you consume. Nobody gives you a budget and a forecast or a guarantee that they're going to consume all that. And the industry is so used to commitments and everything else. And the vendors are so used to, okay, I sell you that box or that equipment and you pay me the money and then I walk away. But that doesn't work anymore. I think there's too much fragmentation in the market. There's a lot of service opportunities, but you can't bet on everything, right? And then it gets very, very expensive. So the vendors really have to change the model and really work with the customer to enable services they can deliver and take part of that commercial risk. Rather than I sell it to you, you give me the money, I'm fine. If your business plan doesn't work, your problem, right?
I agree.
That is over. And I think the vendors really have to take a step forward and say, okay, we're going to enable all these services. We build features and software to do that, but we also have to take part of that risk. And I think that's where we in Cataleya will clearly see an opportunity. And it's not just to have the most refined technology and the greatest fantastic stuff. It's about understanding the commercial challenges of our customers. And I think that's where we can have a play beyond having a great product and great features and services.
I agree, because we often say the wholesalers need to start tailoring their services to the end user and to their customers. Well, I guess the vendors behind them have to do the same to enable them to do that.
Absolutely, because otherwise it would be so costly for them. And if it doesn't work out, because the people are unpredictable, right? Business models have actually matured, which we never thought they're going to work, right? We always had a laugh 10 years ago when Skype came about. Said, it's never going to take off. Come on, right? Or WhatsApp, whatever it is. So, and they've taken a big chunk of the business. But I think there are areas for carriers also to move into. But the investment hurdle has to be limited. And I think that's where we as vendors have to play a role going forward, more importantly.
So you recently took over Cataleya again in February through a management buyout. And knowing you, I'm sure you're full of great ideas and disruptive ideas as well, I hope. So maybe you can share one of these disruptive ideas that you have for the next year and beyond?
Absolutely. So, I mean, as I mentioned already before, I think a great opportunity for us is to really help our customers on the commercial side. The way we're going to offer the deployment of the technology, and it will be largely based on right of use or a lease model and pay per consumption. I think that's something which I saw in Cirrus as well. This is a very, very appreciated proposition, and it takes the risk out of our customers' business to some degree, because you're not putting all your money in one basket and hopefully it goes well, right? You can actually play around a little bit and kind of move along the way. If you think, oh, it's actually not working that well that way, maybe we have to adjust. And I think that's one way where we gonna modify our proposition. And the other one, I think, is we're gonna give a very basic SPC for free. Right? We will call it Walk It Zero because it's zero cost. And it's going to be, a basic feature with limited volumes and everything else. But for the whole DevOps development and so on, you will have developers who need to have access to technology to trial the services and before they become production, right? And they're not going to spend $10,000-$20,000 on software, which they maybe need for a trial or a project. So we want to actually give access to something we have built over the years for actually zero cost. And then when it becomes production development, of course, they can upgrade like you do on many platform as a service or software as a service propositions. So I think these are the key highlights around the switching platform. And the most important thing we're going to address this year is, and where most of our investment goes in, is we're looking into fraud, big data and analytics. I think the industry suffering as it does already by changing business paradigms and models. The last thing we actually need is being defrauded as well. And because of the technology and the deep packet inspection stuff we have, there's a lot of things we see. And we want to work with the operators to identify what are the real core problems. And not just to identify them, we want to identify them real time and actually be able to prevent them and stop them when they happen. Not a month later or 2 months later. It's too late, right? There's already a big bill they're going to receive. So I think these are the highlights for us for this year, and that's already quite a lot.
I think if that's not disruptive, I don't know what is. Well, anyway, Andreas, as always, a great pleasure to have time to chat with you about the industry and where it's going. And I'll be watching you closely with Cataleya.
Okay.
And I hope we can talk again soon. So everyone, thank you for watching. And until my next hot shot.
Thank you.